So, you think you hate facts? Challenge accepted. By the time you're done with this video, I promise you'll be hooked. Why? Well, because I've gathered the wildest, most entertaining facts out there. From how to catch a unicorn to where you can find a giant sandbox for grown-ups, bulldozers and all. And let's just say, Pompeii Porn is as fascinating as it sounds. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 facts for people who hate facts. 25. Flush with danger. Hopefully your toilet is never turned against you, but believe it or not, toilet injuries are a real thing. The CDC, yes, they study this, reports around 22.5 toilet-related injuries per 100,000 people annually in the US. That gives you a 1 in 10,000 chance of a bathroom mishap. And no, I'm not talking about bad plumbing. Most injuries are slips, falls, or water-related accidents. However, a surprising 14% occur while standing up from, sitting down on, or simply using the toilet. So wipe wisely and zip up carefully. 24. Bite Club. When Dave Pearson was attacked by a 10-foot bull shark off Crowdy Head, Australia in 2011, survival was just the first challenge. Luckily for him, his friend acted quickly and saved his life, but the emotional aftermath was brutal. Pearson struggled with PTSD, isolation, and even online trolls mocking his experience. Then in 2013, he founded Bite Club. And unlike Fight Club, the first rule is to talk openly about everything, from attacks to recovery. With 500 members worldwide, the group offers a safe space for healing. However, as Pearson likes to say, the initiation is a real bitch. 23. The Cone Criminals. Bright, bold, and impossible to miss, traffic cones are everywhere, from construction sites to parking lots. But did you know they're also a top target for thieves? In the US, about 1 million cones are stolen annually. And in the UK, it's so common that police hold cone amnesties, letting people return their borrowed cones, no questions asked. I know, who's stealing all these cones? And more importantly, why? Some say it's for pranks. Others claim it's for dorm room decorations or TikTok stunts. But maybe, just maybe, it's part of an elaborate plan to create the world's most confusing traffic jam. Who knows? 22. Pompeii Porn. Pompeii, the Roman city frozen in time by Mount Vesuvius' eruption in 79 CE, isn't just known for its stunning preservation. It's also home to some seriously steamy artwork. In 2024, archaeologists uncovered a mansion with erotic frescoes that would make even modern viewers blush. While explicit art is no stranger to Pompeii, much of it has been carefully tucked away over the years to avoid offending delicate sensibilities. This latest discovery on the Via dell'Abbondanza comes with frescoes of Queen Phaedra with her stepson, Hippolytus, a work of art that can only be explained as a sexy mix of mythology and erotica. 21. Welcome to Intercourse. America has some hilariously named towns. Sure, we all know New York and Los Angeles, but what about Tight Squeeze, Virginia, Hooker, Oklahoma, or Climax, Michigan? But the showstopper is Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Nestled smack bang in Amish country, this tiny village's name feels surprising, to say the least. Originally known as Cross Keys, the town got its new name, Intercourse, in 1814. Some say it was inspired by a local horse track called Intercourse. Others believe it referenced the crossing of two major roads in the area. The most conceivable reason, though, is that Intercourse once meant fellowship and community spirit. A relatively innocent name back then, but today, well, let's just say it's great for tourism. 20. That time a pacemaker took the stand. In 2016, Ross Compton claimed he made a daring escape from his burning home in Ohio. According to him, he packed his belongings, broke a window with his cane, and tossed heavy items outside before climbing to safety. Investigators, however, weren't convinced. So they turned to an unexpected witness, Compton's pacemaker. With a warrant, they analyzed its data, including heart rate and rhythm during the alleged escape. And the pacemaker told a very different story. Compton's arson scheme was exposed, leading to charges of insurance fraud and, well, arson. 19. The woman who sued God. When Betty Penrose's Arizona home was struck by lightning in 1969, she decided that someone had to pay. But who do you sue for an act of God? Well, God, of course. With help from her lawyer, Penrose filed a case in California and asked for $100,000 in damages. Their argument was that God controlled the universe, including Arizona's weather. Because of the recent transfer of an unrelated property to God's legal ownership, the case actually went to court. If God could own property, well, he could be sued. Penrose actually won the case, but as you might expect, collecting her judgment was an entirely different story. 18. The chocolate bloodhounds of Berkeley. It's hard to picture someone crawling on all fours to sniff out a chocolate bar, but in 2007, that's exactly what neuroscientists at UC Berkeley had their students do. Because why not? Researchers soaked a rope in chocolate scent, dragged it in a zigzag pattern, and had students wear earmuffs and blindfolds to ensure they relied solely on their sense of smell. The study later confirmed the obvious. We're terrible sniffer dogs. But also the surprising. After practicing for a few weeks, we get better at it. So yes, if you were wondering, our senses can adapt pretty quickly when there's chocolate involved. 17. Why we call them bloomers. Have you ever wondered why old, tiny, baggy knickers are called bloomers? Well, they were named after Amelia J. Bloomer, a 19th century women's rights activist. Part of Bloomer's reform efforts focused on freeing women from the heavy, restrictive clothing of the time. She introduced an outfit that combined loose trousers with a shorter skirt, which, unsurprisingly, the press mocked relentlessly. Before long, the unconventional getup became known as the bloomer. Luckily for women everywhere, the outfit didn't last, but the name stuck, and bloomers eventually became the go-to term for baggy undergarments. 16. Early contacts were a total nightmare. Contacts have been around for much longer than you think. In fact, the first versions were created in the 1800s, long before plastic was widely available. But here's the ouch part. They were made of glass. And since these early lenses couldn't be shaped to fit just the iris, they had to cover the entire eye. The constant discomfort was so severe that people often used cocaine eye drops to numb the pain. Thankfully, advancements in materials everywhere made contacts thinner and more wearable. Until then, though, everyone brave enough to tolerate glass contacts really suffered for the sake of innovation. 15. How to catch a unicorn. I'm not sure if you believe in unicorns, but, well, the ancients sure did. And despite the horse-like gentle nature we ascribe to them today, ancient historians believed they were fierce and untamable. Pliny the Elder even believed it was impossible to capture one alive. However, Isidore of Seville disagreed. He suggested a unique strategy, using a virgin. According to him, if a maiden stood before the unicorn and bared her chest, the creature would become calm, resting its head on her lap and suckling until it fell asleep. Once the unicorn was sleeping, hunters could attack. Say what you will about ancient tactics, this one is as imaginative as the creature itself. 14. The useless tendon evolution forgot. Sometimes evolution leaves us with odd leftovers, like the palmaris longus tendon in your wrist. To check if you have it, touch your thumb and pinky together and tilt your hand. If you see a line pop up in the middle, oh, wait, I got it, that's right. If you see a line pop up in the middle, congrats, you've got it. If not, you're among the 10 to 15% of people born without it. This tendon connects to a muscle but doesn't strengthen your grip. These days, its only use is a spare part for plastic and reconstructive surgery. Scientists believe it's a relic from when our forearms played a bigger role in movement. While we don't need them anymore, they are still useful for repairs. 13. The Christmasless years. Today, Christmas is all cheer and festivities, but nearly 400 years ago, it was banned altogether. And with the big day just weeks away, here's a little holiday history to put under your tree. In 1659, Puritans in New England and England canceled Christmas, declaring it a sinful pagan holiday. Their strict interpretation of Christianity meant no trees, no decorations, and definitely no mince pies. To make sure no one sneaked in a celebration, businesses were required to stay open on Christmas Day. Town criers even roamed the streets, sternly reminding folks, there will be no Christmas tomorrow. Christmas made its comeback in England by 1660, but New England didn't follow suit until 1681. 12. The fungi that feed on radiation. As Jeff Goldblum might say, life, finds a way. Even in the aftermath of one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. Black fungi has been discovered to be thriving inside the highly radioactive power plant at Chernobyl. When studied in labs, these fungi displayed a bizarre trait. They grew faster when exposed to radiation, almost as if they wanted it. The secret lies in their pigment, melanin, which absorbs gamma radiation and converts it into energy. Interestingly, since humans have melanin too, it could mean that, on a much smaller scale, we could be eating radiation too. just not as efficiently as our fungal friends. 11. Babies know right from wrong. Babies might not look like your moral philosophers, but researchers at Yale University believe they're born with a basic sense of right and wrong, and they've got the puppets to prove it. In one study, babies watched puppet shows where some puppets performed good deeds, while others acted badly. When offered the puppets afterwards, 8 out of 10 babies chose the good ones. In another experiment, treats were placed beside the puppets and babies were allowed to take them away. Most chose to punish the bad puppets by swiping their treats. So the next time a baby looks at you funny, well, maybe take a moment to reflect. 10. Macaulay Times Two. Never let the internet pick your name. Just ask Macaulay Culkin. A few years ago, the Home Alone star decided to let fans vote on a new middle name for him. The internet delivered in the most unoriginal way possible. They chose Macaulay Culkin. True to his word, the actor legally changed his name, so now his full name is Macaulay Culkin Culkin. I think it's safe to say that as far as middle names go, well, that's a hard one to forget. It also reminds me of Bodie McBoatface and the new Mountain Dew flavor, was it? The thrashed apple flavor? 9. When you're scared of peanut butter. Arachibutyrophobia is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. And yes, it's a real documented phobia. While most of us find the sensation mildly annoying, or even funny when it comes to our dogs, for some it's downright terrifying. Psychologists believe the fear stems from our body's natural instinct to avoid choking. Peanut butter's sticky texture could theoretically coat the mouth enough to block the airway. For mild sufferers, it's manageable in small doses. For others, it's a hard pass. 8. The mysterious hum. For over 60 years, a strange noise known as the hum has been tormenting people worldwide. Described as a low, droning sound, like an idling engine, it's an insomnia-inducing nightmare for everyone who hears it. About 2% of the global population can hear it, and the reports usually come from New Mexico, Canada, England, Scotland, and New Zealand. Strangely enough, it's mostly heard indoors and seems to get louder at night. Theories about its origin range from wireless towers and underground tunneling to power lines, radio waves, and even aliens. Some experts, however, think it's not a sound at all, but simply people hyper-focusing on regular background noise. 7. Brazil's cocaine sharks. Move over, cocaine bear. The ocean's got its own crazy stars. Cocaine sharks. I kid you not. Scientists in Brazil have discovered that these curious predators are nibbling on cocaine dumped into the ocean by fleeing drug traffickers. Oh God. And let's just say the results are as hectic as you'd imagine. The sharks are displaying over-the-top aggression, bizarre movement patterns, and completely unnatural social behavior. The environmental contamination isn't just bad news for the sharks, it's also wreaking havoc on the marine ecosystem, and scientists are currently scrambling to figure out the long-term impact. 6. A sandbox for adults. Who hasn't secretly dreamed of getting behind the controls of a bulldozer just to see what happens? Well, thanks to Ed Mum and his creation Dig This Las Vegas, that dream can now be a reality. While building his home, Mum discovered that using an excavator was awesome, so he decided to share the fun with everyone. He created a construction-themed park where you can choose between classic bulldozers or hydraulic excavators and head into the Nevada desert to dig, stack, and even compete in skill games like moving tires and basketballs. So if your idea of fun is a giant sandbox with way bigger toys, well, you're welcome. 5. Herbert Spencer's catchy evolution phrase. Most people attribute the phrase survival of the fittest to Charles Darwin and his theory of evolution, but Darwin didn't coin it, and for a long time he didn't even use it in his work. While the concept aligns perfectly with Darwin's ideas, the actual phrase was introduced by Herbert Spencer, another biologist. After reading On the Origin of Species, Spencer was inspired to connect Darwin's theories to his own ideas about economics. So, in 1864, he published Principles of Biology, and used the now famous phrase for the very first time. 4. The Ghost Lineage. In 2017, scientists made an extraordinary discovery while studying human saliva. Their focus was on mucin 7, the protein that makes spit slippery. But when they analyzed the MUC7 gene in people from sub-Saharan Africa, they uncovered something remarkable, a completely unique version of the gene. Further research revealed its origins, an extinct human species, or ghost lineage that left no fossils behind. Researchers believe that mysterious species interbred with the ancestors of modern humans around 200,000 years ago. Today, the only trace of them is a fragment of their DNA quietly lingering in our saliva. 3. NASA's smile-saving tech. When you think of NASA, you probably picture rocket science, cutting-edge space exploration, and mind-blowing technology. But did you know they're also responsible for revolutionizing orthodontics? Yep, you can thank NASA for invisible braces. Back in the late 80s, braces were clunky metal contraptions straight out of a medieval nightmare. Then NASA stepped in with their translucent ceramic materials. These ceramics became the foundation for invisible braces, offering a sleeker, less noticeable way to straighten teeth. And NASA's influence doesn't just stop there. They've also contributed to the dental world with alloys, ultrasounds, and x-rays to improve overall oral health. So the next time you flash your very straight pearly whites, I'll thank NASA. 2. The survivors of the Dino apocalypse. When the asteroid slammed into Earth 66 million years ago, it triggered the KPG extinction event, wiping out 75% of species, including non-avian dinosaurs. But not everything died out. Cockroaches, of course, survived without breaking a sweat. Snakes also slithered through the chaos, and the Rosaceae family, ancestors of today's roses, not only made it, but thrived, giving birth to the 290,000 flowering species we have today. Then there are the bees, whose survival is a complete and utter mystery. They should have frozen during the prolonged nuclear winter that followed. So how did these fragile insects outlive the dinosaurs? Honestly, it's still a total head scratcher. 1. The nose that knows. A dog's sense of smell is nothing short of extraordinary. With 300 million olfactory receptors to our measly 6 million, their noses can pick apart and process smells in ways we can't even imagine. It's believed to be at least 10,000 times better than ours, making our noses seem practically useless. To put it into perspective, the human eye can spot the faint glow of a candle 30 miles away on a dark night. If our sense of sight was as powerful as a dog's sense of smell, we would see that candle from 30,000 miles away. That's the distance between Bangor, Maine and Los Angeles 10 times over. Now that's amazing. And that's a wrap. So, have you been converted? If your answer is yes, then I got you covered. Stick around if List 25 is your cup of tea. But if you prefer something a bit darker, check out Dark Roast Detectives, our new channel dedicated to the best true crime stories. Trust me, it's a binge-worthy rabbit hole you'll love. And hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and do all that stuff before you go. Really helps the channel, and I would super appreciate it. And until next time, I'll catch you later.